Okay, folks, this is my review of the U.S. Leisure 10x8 Stronghold shed. Hopefully you could hear me okay. It's a little windy out here today. So first off, I'll give you a view of it on the outside. I have to say I'm very happy with the way it looks. Aesthetically, it's very nice. We'll walk around the side and to the back. So here it is. I'm not going to show you the build. There's a lot of videos of other people doing it, and you can see how to assemble it. The longest part of the whole build, I think, was building the platform. You definitely have to have a flat surface. It's plastic, it's flexible, it bends. If your surface is not absolutely flat and level, you will have issues putting this together. I built my base out of 2x4 framing. It's all leveled off on block on the ground. Before I put the 3/4 inch plywood down, I put down some plastic vapor barrier just to reduce on the moisture coming up to the plywood. I also stained the plywood, even though it's pressure treated. I stained it first before putting it down on top of the plastic. So like I said, the longest part was definitely doing the platform with leveling the ground, dealing with a lot of rain and mud. After that, the build took me about 3 hours. So here it is. Here's the door mechanism that locks. You can pull it open. There's definitely a lot of room in here. I'm surprised. Here's the latches on the inside for the other door. Right there, and one down here. Pick it up, and the other door opens. It opens very nice and easily. Everything's aligned really well. The build went pretty smooth, no problems. The one problem I did have was the skylights. The way it was boxed and shipped, they were actually folded backwards. And so by the time I opened them up and bent them to the angle for the peak of the roof, the thin plastic that they're connected by actually broke and cracked open. So I wasn't happy about that. But once I got the whole shed up the next day, I called the company and told them what happened. And without any questions, no arguing, they were very apologetic and shipped me out some brand new skylights. They came within 3 days. So I was very happy with the company for accommodating me like that. So, you know, here's just a bunch of the views of the inside. It is very spacious for 10x8. I've seen other people talking about these handles also. They are kind of weak. You know, if the shutters stick when you're closing them and you pull them closed, this part right here might pull out of the hole. But I think once it wears in, it'll be fine. I didn't have any problems right there, as you can see. I think once it's all together, the integrity of it, you know, I'll push on it here. It's pretty solid, surprisingly. When you're putting it up, these panels are very light. But once you have it all together, it's actually pretty sturdy. I'm surprised. I will give the tip that I saw someone else that showed the build when they had to put these corner pieces to lock the two walls together. I saw someone else talk about this. You screw in the screws on one panel, but when you're putting in the next panel over to this side, do not put the screws in, keep them out, so you could take this wall and actually bend it inward so you could get this plastic piece into the two sides. That was probably the hardest part of the whole build, was putting those in. You definitely need a second person. So I wouldn't try and do it on your own. I was smart enough to not build this too close to some type of structure. I've seen other people where, just to get the panels on, because they built them too close to something else, they ended up having to trim part of the plastic of the roof just to get it on, because you do need the full length of a roof panel to actually slide it on. You start it right there at the roof line, and then it slides up, so you need that room. So don't make that mistake like I've seen other people do. I did not have to cut anything. I did not break anything. My build went pretty smooth. I'm not a professional contractor or anything like that, but I do have the ability to build a full shed by wood if I wanted to. But I wanted to go with this, something less maintenance, a little bit easier, and it went up pretty fast. Like I said, the integrity of it, I think, is pretty good, you know, for being light plastic. You have the shelf up there. I haven't used it yet. The main reason I got this was actually to store my motorcycle. Now, I'll pull the door closed from the inside, and you can see the door's closed. My shutters are closed, and you can see how bright it is in here. The skylight really lets a lot of light in, which is really pretty cool. I built a little bench. That bench is actually 3 feet long by 2 feet deep, and so you could still see how much room I have in here. It's pretty good. I'm 5'8". There's a lot of headroom in here, even if you were 6 feet tall. So my review of the shed, my opinion is I'm very happy with it so far. No water comes in. We've had rain here for a bunch of days already, the last week, and nothing. It stays pretty dry. This is supposed to be some type of heavy-duty flooring. Feels pretty good. You know, you screw it all together. Some little spots where they screw from one to the other. I did not anchor it down yet. Over in the corners, you could see a hole right there. It has a hole in each corner, so you can anchor it down. I will be doing that with some lag bolts and washers, and I will anchor it down to the platform. Let's see. I don't know what else to say about it. I really have nothing bad to say, other than the one thing was when they packed it, they had the skylight folded backwards. So by the time you open it, the thin piece of plastic that joins at the peak cracked right down the full length. But you call up the company and they didn't ask any questions. I just told them about it and how the way it was packed. And once I opened it up, how it cracked. And the guy apologized and he sent them right out. No questions asked. So I will be putting up some wooden shelves or plastic shelves over here in this space. These are gutter channels, they call. They do have the slots, so you could use like those standard shelving, you know, with the wire shelves. I'm not going to do that. I think they rate it for like 100 pounds. But it is plastic, so I'm not going to bother. I have room in here to build a nice shelf for the few things, pretty much for all my tools. And over here, after I get this ladder out of here, my motorcycle will go on that side. So that's it. The US Leisure 10x8 Stronghold shed. I got at Home Depot. I paid $650 for it. But then the one they had in stock was actually, all the boxes were opened up. So they had one at another local Home Depot, and they took 50 bucks off for me to go get it from the other location. It was only 7 miles away, so I took the $50 discount. It is pretty windy here, gotta watch them. This mechanism is not very strong, you know. The doors do wiggle if you pull on it. It's not fully secured. It is plastic. I think if someone wanted to get in there, you know, a grown man, you could just probably rip on that door and almost rip it right off the hinges, probably. But I feel secure. The neighborhood I live in is pretty safe. We don't really have problems where we are, so I don't think anyone's gonna try and break in. I do have a little combination padlock I'm gonna put on it. But that's it. There's really nothing else I could say. As far as the build, I gave the tips as far as when you get to the corners. The rest of it goes very smooth. Definitely, you have to have a perfectly level platform or some type of foundation. Don't try and put it on grass. Do not try and put it right down on gravel. There's going to be too much shifting and you will have problems, I think. Either build a good wooden platform with some 3/4 inch plywood, or if you're lucky enough to have a concrete slab. Oh, one more thing is these vents right here. Gives us some ventilation. It's really nice. But I'm thinking about bugs and bees or hornets. I'm probably from the inside going to use either some clear silicone and kind of adhesive, a piece of screen over it, just so I don't get any wasps coming in there or there. The only other places where bugs might be able to come in is right here at the roof line. It's not a big gap. It's really just a tiny crack of space. I don't really think I'll have bees or hornets coming in through there, but I'm sure I could try and do something to fill in that gap. Whether it's go right down the whole side and use a little bit of spray foam insulation, because I do really want to secure this thing from having bugs and insects coming in here as much as possible. It's for the bike. It is kind of my little man cave. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I would definitely recommend one of these. It's not bad for $650. Then the lumber to build the base, you're looking at about another 200 bucks. So if you could do it yourself, definitely do it yourself. All in, I was about $850. But it's not bad. It's not bad, and it's low maintenance. On the outside, if it gets dirty, just use a power washer or a hose. Or I'm sure with the plastic, you could even use like a little bit of Fantastic, a little light degreaser with a paper towel. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video.